Okay, in this video we're going to look at how to start making the rest of our website, finishing it off. So in my folder, website folder, I've got this one template file. Got my images, all my images from my website. If I open up my website template file, sorry, just double click or open this with Google Chrome. Oh, there it is. Okay, so this is one web page, but I'm using this as a template. So I've got to create a home page, which we will call index. Then we can just keep this one as news and this one as links. Okay, so we need to create these because at the minute, as you can see, if I click on them, this doesn't change, right? My address at the top here does not change to news, doesn't change to links. So to start off, what we do, we can close off Fireworks, right? Quit Fireworks, don't need it open. Make sure you've saved everything. And I'm going to find a program on my computer called Adobe Dreamweaver, and it's this DW. So you can go to Adobe Master Collection, and you might see several programs like Photoshop, Fireworks, and this is Dreamweaver right here. Okay, so when you open Dreamweaver, you will first of all have to set up the website. So you get this welcome screen, a bit very similar to what you get with Fireworks. You get this welcome screen. If you don't, you can actually just go to File and New as well. Okay, so you go to File New, and you can pick that up there, or you can go to Site and New Site. So what we need to do first of all is just create a new site. So you can see here under create new, I've got Dreamweaver site, or I can go to up here, site, a new site like this. Okay, so cancel. Dreamweaver site does the same thing, or site, new site. And we'll give it a name. So my website was basically, it looked, well, I've built this on the basis of one of my students' logos. So it's got a surfboard in it. So maybe I'll just call it surfing website, something like that. I can put it all one word. And then I've got to get the local site folder. Where is this website? So if I click on this little folder here, I can then search for it. So there's website and choose, and that's it. So it should just show you this folder, okay? Not the images folder inside it. So imagine I was accidentally did raw or something like that. So you can see it says website and then raw, or if I picked a different one, I don't want to do that. So I need to just go back, make sure it says website, and it's just up to website. So say, that's it, finished, save. Okay, so it said counting files. Now what it does is that we've got our files over here. Now this is in designer mode. You can see this on the top right. You can put it into different sort of modes if you want. So we've got classic. Right, so that's changed. That's probably the best one that we'll use for the minute because we actually get more options. So you can see under this mode I've only got these kind of options all here, and properties at the bottom, and then all of these tabs. But if I click on classic, I get far more tools, right? So this is the sort of original classic mode, and I can see now my file's a little bit better, and I've got quite a few things here. So you can see I've got this template, and I've got my images, right? I can sort of see all of those. I've got my raw folder, CSS, which is empty. So what I want to do is open this template, so I just double click on it. Okay, so when I open this, you can see what it's got. It has got loads of code, right? Now, don't be too scared by all of this code. This has been created by Fireworks, okay? So Adobe Fireworks created this, but you will recognize some of it if you start to look carefully. So you can see HTML, open markup tag, right? You can see the head tag, title, right? And it's got template.jpg written in it. We don't want that. We probably want something else. You've got a meta tag which gives some information about you know, what we've been used, what this has been going to be used for, and you can see it's Fireworks, Dreamweaver, Fireworks CS6 Dreamweaver, and the language then that we've got here, we've got an actual programming language, which looks very complicated to read because it's all bunched together, and that's because the Fireworks created this, right? So it's kind of programmed in. When we exported this template page, it created all this programming code. And this programming code actually, what it's for, it makes your buttons work. So if we go back to here, this bit that makes these roll over, that you can actually do that, that is done using this code. And this code is called JavaScript, and you can see it says it here, JavaScript 1.2, and that's this programming language. So you don't have to worry about this too much, but if you did start to look at it, you might make sure you don't change it, of course. But you can see we've got var, p, I, and x, right? So that would be variables. And you know, here you can see you've got if something, if here, you got these things called selection, if statements, right? So you're probably familiar with some of this code. If not, don't worry about it. And you can see there's this other bit's called functions. This one's called find object. This one here is called swap object, and then swap image restore, preload images, right? So these are to do with our images that we made for our buttons. But what we want to do is look further down. And if we look further down, you can see this is the end of the head tag. So all of that is in the header, or in the head of the document. And then we've got our body. So the body tag, you can see here, it's been set to white, right? So this is our hexadecimal color code, and that's been set to white by default, which is fine. We'll leave it like that for now. And then here we've got all of our image, different image spacers, and they've been put into a sort of table, right? And we've got some extra code in here that basically makes these on mouse event. You can see on mouse over here, on mouse out, and things. That's all to do with the JavaScript, right, to get these working. But we don't really need to look at this code that much at the moment. We can click on either split, so you can see both, or design. And this is probably what we want to do, look at the design mode. Okay. Now in design mode, you can see you can click on these things, just make sure you don't move them by accident, do things like that, because you can see what happens, make a mess, so Control Z to undo that. And this is all inside a box. So what we want to do here is change a few bits. Now, in the code, we did have the title of our website, and that was here at the top on lines, well, for me it's on line 6, yours you'll have to find it. So here it says template.jpg. So I'm just going to call this a surfing website. Okay, so you call it what you want to call it. You can also notice that it's actually written up here as well. So if I just click on design, now that's changed. So you could have changed it up here, but it's always nice to look at the code and be familiar with how some of this code works. Okay, so design, surfing website. And then you will get a little star beside this. Right? And this little star means that you've made a change and it hasn't been saved. So if you do Control S, you see that star's gone away. Okay, and that's about it for making this as a web page. Now what we want to do is we want to use this template as a template. Okay, so I'm going to close this for now, and I'm going to create a new HTML document. Okay, so create new HTML, and what we will do with this is we want to actually get this from a template, or make this into a template. So if I go to actually, no, I want to use the template. So sorry, I need to open this template again. So double click on it. So I've got it open. So I've got untitled here and then template here. I need to do file on this one and save as a template. Okay. Now, when I save it as a template, it's going to change this for us, right? It's going to give it a different file name. So it'll probably make a copy of this. So when I say save, update links, yes. and you can see what it's done. It's created an extra folder here, and I've got an extra file, template.dwt, right? It's changed this name to Dreamweaver Template. Okay, so that's important. Now, this templates folder, if I go then to my folders, you can see templates now, I've got an extra folder, and it's DWT. Right, I can keep that old template, just leave that there, that's fine. But what I need to do on this template is create areas, areas which can be used, okay? So the way I would do this is create something like a box here, or a layer, we'll call this, right? It's up here under this menu button, under Option Common. Now remember, you have to have it on classic mode to be able to see this, okay? So up here, if I just click down here in this white area, and then insert div tag, we'll not need to give any information here, just press OK, and it just goes directly underneath. Okay, so it says content for new div tag goes here, right? And then if I click on it, so see what I've done, just click on that div tag, and then I want to right click, and with that I can call it an editable region. Okay, editable region, right? So I'll show you that again. Click on it, then right click. So when it's selected blue, templates and editable region. There is another way, I'm sure, that I can pick to do that as well. So I'm not sure exactly where it is. I'd have to look at it. There, modify, templates. Is it under there? No. So template objects possibly, yeah, editable region. So I can click on that here, insert template objects, editable region, same thing essentially. So when I say editable region, it's going to come up and ask me to give it a name. I'm just going to call it main, like the sort of main content box. So I'll just call it main content area, something like that, and say OK. Now what it does, it makes it sort of green, greenish blue here, and you can see it says main content area above it, and that's it. That's all we need to do. So if I just then save that, I can then close that template. So when I've closed it, so I've saved it, closed it, it's in this templates folder, and I've got this blank page now. So with this blank page, what I can do is insert a template. Okay, so to use a template. Okay, so make nested template, edit region, repeating table. It was under here somewhere. It's been a while since I've done this. So modify templates, apply template to page. There you go. So modify templates, apply template to page, and there's the name of it. It comes up straight away. Template now, and select. Okay. Now what you will notice for this is that when I've applied that template, so that was modify templates, apply template to page. This is now our new page, and I'm going to call this the index page, and this is going to be home. Okay. Now, why is it called index? Well, the index page, the reason it's called index is because every web server, when you put a website on a computer that is accessible to the internet, it is called the index page. So if you went to like google.com or google.es, or you go to Gmail, or you go to YouTube, the very first page that comes up is usually called index.htm or index.php or .asp or something like that, okay? So even though this is our home page, I've just written home in here, it's going to be called index. And as you can see at the minute, I can only edit this box. So this is a web page, but I've got this template in here, and I can only edit this template in this template, DWT. I can't edit it in this page, okay? So I've done that, call it home, file save as, and I just want to put it into my web page, right, and website folder. So it's in website. Don't want to put it into any of these folders, and it's index.html. Okay, so save that. Now this is pretty quick now. So after I've done that, I've got index.html. I'm just going to change the name to news and do file save as. So this is different, and instead of calling it index this time, I'm going to call it news. Save that. And then links, so change the name. And then file save as. Change it to links. So up the top here, I've got links. And press save. So now I've got index, news, and links. And if I look over here, I can press this little refresh button. You can see I've got my folders. So if I try and put this in order a little bit, I've got my folders. It's actually gone more or less alphabetically ordered, except for raw as at the beginning because of the underscore. But you can see I've got index, links, news, and then I've still got that old template image one here. Okay, so I could actually move this one into templates if I want. If I haven't got it open, I can move it into there. So it comes up asking, do you want to update the files? Yes, yeah, so say update. And I've got two templates in here. So one is the DWT one, and the other one is just .htm. That was the one we got from Fireworks. Okay. Right. How do I get these to work and link them? Because at the minute, if I go to my folder, and I can see I've got all my pages here. If I still then open up index, I'll open up in Google Chrome. It's still not linked. They still don't go anywhere, right? Okay, my home's gone over here, but we can fix that later. So, close that one. What do I need to do? Well, I need to go to that DWT template down here. So make sure I open the correct one. DWT, and here it is. Right, so I've got my main content area, and then this. So on these, I need to click on home, and down at the bottom, I can set a target for this, okay, or a link. Right, so in the link, it says here JavaScript, but what I want to do, I don't want to change that. So what I can do is look at the code, and you can see it here. So what it does, you can see it says this is the image name of this button and so on. So I don't want to play around with any of this code because otherwise it'll make a bit of a mess. So in design mode, just clicked on that button, and at the link I can say this little item here, or I can pick the browse for the file. Now if I pick this one, I can actually drag this over to pick something on this side. You can see it sort of does that, right? But I might want to just pick the folder, right? So this little folder, and this first one, as it's the home, I want it to go to index. So it's going to itself, essentially. Save that one, click on the next one, folder, and it goes to news. So this is under link, okay? Links, this one goes to the links page, and open, right. Now if I just then file save that, it's going to come up, because this is a template which has been used on all three of these pages. Do you want to update these files, right? Because they're all changing. Okay, so yes, you always want to update, and it will update and then just tell you what's happened. Look in files that use these then, and then just say close. Okay, right, now the moment of truth. Does that work? So I've got Google Chrome open. If I open up this page in Google Chrome, now the moment of truth, click on news. Okay, it's gone to news. And I can see it says news over here. So I've got this in the wrong place, but obviously I can fix that later. Click on links, it goes to links. Click on home, it goes back. So it doesn't matter what page I'm on, I can now use all of these links. Really important.